Good morning, John. Thanks for joining me today here. And maybe before we start, you can give a short introduction to who you are.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm John Watton. I'm the Director of Marketing for Silverpop in Europe.
Yep.
For those people who don't know Silverpop, we're a behavioral marketing automation company. We basically provide technology that unifies email marketing and marketing automation. We help a range of brands in both the consumer and, of course, for this conference, in the B2B space.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to speak at our event, and I was very intrigued by the title of your presentation, which is The End of Segmentation in B2B.
Yeah.
We actually kind of saying to our customers that they really need to focus on segmentation more and more.
Yeah.
And you coming with a totally new message saying,
Yeah.
not the end of segmentation. Can you explain?
Sure. Well, sorry about that in the first place, but really, it's a continuum, I think, of the conversation we're all trying to have. I think we recognize that the sort of mass marketing approach, the kind of let's just send something out to all of our database and not really consider who they are, what they want, what their needs and issues are, and kind of hope is those days are over.
Yeah.
And absolutely, the first stage to that is thinking, more closely about your buyers. How you can kind of group them into categories and, have a more tailored and relevant conversation with those buyers, whether they're customers or prospects. And that's segmentation. But I think from our point of view, we'd say there's a step further. And if you think about it, when we're using this segmented approach, we'd be really delighted, for example, if a segmented email gets a 3% click-through rate, maybe a 25% open rate. I mean, that's a great result for a lot of us. But of course, the flip side of that is the 97% of people who didn't click through or the 75% who didn't open it really says to me that segmentation kind of approach still has a way to go. And what we're seeing is the natural way forward for most companies, in the next few years is moving towards more of a behavioral approach based on individual interactions. So you are effectively building individual campaigns of one, I guess, is a concept that's been around for many years, but really feel now the technology is there to help people really build this personalized approach to the way in which they communicate with their buyers.
Okay, so I'm okay if I'm saying it's not the end of segmentation, but the end segmentation as we know it, and starting off a new way to segment, which is not based only on profile, but profile and behavior, right?
Exactly, yeah. So what we tend to do in the sort of segmentation world then is say, okay, let's build about a buyer persona, and don't get me wrong, that's an important first step in the journey. Then we are, writing maybe specific content for those segments, communicating through email, social, building out, collateral or whatever, and having that conversation. So that's kind of fine, but really, this is about rather than having a few segments of many thousands, it's having thousands of segments of one. And really, when you think about it, the consumer nowadays is more demanding, they're more digital savvy. You can't differentiate between the behavior of a B2B buyer and a B2C buyer as we used to, because we're all in our daily lives using smartphones, social media, and so on. And that demanding consumer wants a relevant conversation, a personalized conversation that understands where they are in their buying cycle, what their needs and wants are. And they're expressing those behaviors through the digital interactions they're having with our brands.
Yeah.
So the clicks on your website, the emails they're opening, the social posts that they're following and liking. And all of those really help you to then tell your marketing to say, okay, well, that individual at this point of time has a unique set of requirements, which is not only their demographic, not only their psychographic, but also expressed in their behaviors.
Exactly. So, John, for the marketeers or the B2B marketeers who are watching this, what are the fastest 3 tips that you can give them in order to get it up and running? What do they need to do?
Okay. Well, I mean, I think the good news for everyone is this isn't a sort of radical, rip everything up and start again. I'm sure everyone is doing something in this area. And actually to get started in the world of moving to more of a behavioral approach is quite simple. So this is about, for example, first of all, you need a technology platform to help you, automate this because you can't possibly be running millions of campaigns of one. I've been a career B2B marketer now for, dare I say, a couple of decades, and I know how hard it is to manage all this in spreadsheets and and in the kind of CSV file world that people are. So and I think the really exciting thing now around this whole technology space, is, for B2B marketers, is it's relatively cheap. I mean, gone are the days where you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get this stuff up and running. In the world of software as a service, this is great. So one thing about that, I think it's about putting in measurement as well. So so using those platforms, but also web analytics. Again, Google Analytics. Is free. Understanding the interactions of your buyers on the web activity. And three, I think we've talked about it already. I think it's really trying to understand who buys from you. Why?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is all about the journey, and to get on that journey, if you feel that you're doing things very simply right now, which is nothing to be embarrassed about because most of us B2B marketers are, then the first step is to do some things we've talked about.
Exactly.
Build out buyer personas, understand your buyers. And I think a lot of us can get a lot of benefit from doing that. So those are the three things that I would say.
Okay. John, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to seeing your presentation because you're going to talk about it more in depth and to actually show some cases of companies who implemented this successfully.
Yes.
But also share your views as a B2B marketing guy for 20 years. So that will be very interesting to hear.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much for your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the 14th of March.
Right.